Hi, this is Will with My Spiritual Clarity. Today's video is both a teaching video and an invitation. I'm inviting you to come to the next Helper's Paradox half-day intensive. And also in this video, I want to teach you a little bit more about stage 1 and stage 2 of the Helper's Paradox. So you can know if you're in either one of this, if you're dealing with the Helper's Paradox to begin with, and if you are, if you're more in stage 1 or stage 2. So the reason I get very excited about this work is because I see the results that happen for my students. It is so exciting to see. One example was a student who they had a family member that was taking up so much of their time, and they felt very obligated to help this family member. They were older, and so they felt that it was their job, their responsibility to take care of them, which it was. But when we did the work on the helper's paradox and shifted that, this family member suddenly got a girlfriend and didn't need my client, this student, so much. They still needed them, but it wasn't an everyday kind of thing, and it created so much space for that student. And it happened as if by magic right after we did this work together. So that's one example of where when you identify the helper's paradox and you step out of that need to help, that you're able to grow your business and do it in a natural and a balanced way. And also that the fear of being seen online, the fears around visibility also begin to shift. So what is the helper's paradox? The helper's paradox states that the more a person needs to help, the less able they are to help. And that need word is very important. I'm not saying ever to stop helping. I believe that the world needs more helpers, but I also believe just as strongly that the world needs more aligned helpers, not the burnt out, stressed out helpers that feel constantly obligated to help everybody else and put others before themselves. That puritanical kind of belief system that many in North America and even in parts of Europe adopted for either religious reasons or societal reasons. So I believe the world needs more joyful helpers, helpers that help simply because they love it, not because they believe they have to, or it's their burden or their duty or their cross to bear. So I find that the helper's paradox is the main thing that holds healers and coaches and therapists back from being visible online, from growing their practice, growing their business, and having that balance in their daily life. So there are two stages with the helper's paradox. The first stage is when you're just beginning or growing your business or practice. And this could take up to 5 years or more. It's not about time. It's about, do you have a clear niche and audience? Do you have a clear marketing message? Do you have a platform or an email list or an audience online that you reach consistently? And it's not also about dollars in the bank. It's about how many of the foundational pieces of business do you have sorted out. So basically, if you're showing up regularly online, or in whatever format you do, if it's in person as well, and you feel good about it and you have a flow of clients that works for you in your lifestyle, that when all that's complete, you're out of stage 1. Stage 2 is when you already have a large community, whether it's a Facebook group in the thousands or hundreds, that's very, very responsive, or email list in the hundreds or thousands, that is very responsive. You've already got a community. Where the helper's paradox comes in here, and it's not as obvious as in stage 1. In stage 1, everyone needs you just all the time. And so it's really hard to make space or time for your business and for your self-care. In stage 2, it's a little bit more insidious. Insidious is blank. Insidious. It sneaks in there. You start having thoughts like, oh, I just wish that my community wasn't so big. I wish I wasn't so busy. I wish that I could scale back. I feel that like everyone needs me, but I don't feel that I can step back and I can't really find the right people to hire, or maybe I'm not charging enough to hire the staff that I need. Or you start doing things like you say the wrong thing online, and all of a sudden your audience diminishes, or you have fears around visibility, fears about expanding to the next level. That's all about Helper's Paradox Level 2. It's still that need to help, but it shows up in a lot of different ways. So in my work, and specifically in the Helper's Paradox half-day intensive, there are 3 key things that we do. The first is we identify where are you stuck in the Helper's Paradox, specifically where is it coming up. And because it's such a small group, I'm able to work with each person one-on-one to find out where specifically for you is this happening. And that example that I shared at the beginning of the student with their family member, that happened in this live one-on-one interaction time. So we identify those specific things. The second one is that we shift the intensity around those moments, and I call them now obligation triggers. Where are you triggered into feeling obligated to help? with family, with friends, with clients, with the world. Very briefly, almost my entire life from the age of 16 till 26 or 30 was spent obsessing about how it was my job to save the world. I had white savior complex to the max. And that's part of what informed this work around the Helper's Paradox. So because of that, my obligation triggers it was everything. I would see a religious text of any religion. I would see the news. I would see an ad. I would see a person everything was an obligation trigger. So my life was spent in a shame spiral and a guilt spiral about how I wasn't doing enough to save the world. I just wasn't doing enough, and I could never do enough. So my obligation triggers were every day, all day long. And as a result, I didn't get anything done. The more I needed to help and save, the less I was helping, the less I was actually being a contribution to people around me. When I stepped out of that was when I first started my business that I do now. So the third thing that we cover in the Helper's Paradox half-day intensive is how to use those obligation trigger moments as a springboard for a deeper connection with God. And when I say God, I mean the God of your understanding, the God of your heart. So each of these moments of obligation can actually become a springboard for a deeper connection with not only God, but with your family, with your friends, with your clients. When you identify that need energy, how you're feeling and being pulled and sucked in, and you don't do that, now you have space. Now you have grace. And you can use that any way that you want to create your business and your practice, to connect, to clarify your life and your business. It's amazing what happens when we do this work. So if you're a visual person, imagine this. You schedule in some time for yourself to grow your business. So if you're in stage 2, as I mentioned above, this could be hiring your next full-time staff. If you're just starting out and you're in stage 1, this could be figuring out your own niche, or what could you share next with your audience. So you've got the time in your calendar, the time comes up, but surprise, surprise, someone else needs your help. A client, a family member, or your own body. Something else comes up. So if this happened once or once in a while, no big deal. Life happens. Life is never going to stop lifing on us. But what I'm talking about is the chronic thing, when this happens almost every day, where making new time for yourself or making time for your business feels like climbing a mountain. And so you end up just staying at base camp because it's easier. So now imagine that you learn about this Helper's Paradox, and you identify your obligation triggers, and you shift the limiting beliefs, those negative beliefs that make you feel so compelled to put others before yourself, and all of that leads to burnout. Suddenly, people don't need your help so desperately. They want to work with you, they pay you, they hire you, but the desperation and the burden on your time is gone. You now have space to create, space to care for yourself, and space to grow your business. Not only that, but when people do show up who need you, you're able to easily and naturally let them know what your schedule is and when you're truly available next. And all of this without any guilt or sense of obligation. So in the half-day intensive, I'll show you the exact beliefs that are specific and unique to you. That's why I do the one-on-one work in the half-day intensive. That's why we have the time and the space to do that. So the exact ones that lead to an unhealthy patterns of overgiving, people-pleasing, and the need to help, fix, or save. You'll be left with freedom, ease, and joy and energy to grow your business. So I hope with this video you're a little bit more clear on, or much more clear on, the Helper's Paradox, obligation triggers, that whole concept, and if this is really for you, if you really need this. And if you do feel, not that you need this, that you want this. See, it's in our language everywhere, that word need. If you feel drawn to this, if this feels light and good and grounded for you, I would love to see you at the next half-day intensive. And below this video, you'll see the link to sign up, or if you get this in an email, you'll see the link in that email. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.